Today on Recipe Remix,
We will be taking two traditional Filipino dishes. Dishes. One more time.
fishies in dishes.
We will be taking two traditional Filipino dishes and rethinking how they're made because Maggi made us do it. Perfect. You nailed that one. I'm so proud of you.
We did. All right, that's a wrap.
So the idea today is to try to change up these dishes.
Yes.
But before we do that, I want to put out like a disclaimer. There's a lot of talk about elevating Filipino cuisine.
Okay.
You know, Filipino cuisine doesn't need elevating, it needs championing. Elevating means trying to make it better, but that's not what we're trying to do. You try to make it different, more unique, more in your style, sure. But then aside from that, once you understand tradition and kind of like the right ingredients, feel free to mess around with it, because that's the beauty of taking your liberties in cooking. So let's try yours first, tinola.
All right, cheers.
Okay, primary flavors that come out when you think about tinola.
Ginger, that nice chickeny flavor, and a bit of a sweetness from the onions.
So what's your plan in terms of how you're gonna remake and remix
Yes.
your tinola?
Tinola by itself is a very flavorful dish because you get like the flavor of the chicken and the broth. What if you incorporate that in the rice you cook it in? So more flavor imparted to the rice rather than just eating tinola with like straight up like plain rice.
Correct. So mine is pinakbet. Primary flavor I get when I eat pinakbet is bitterness. You have a very strong kind of like briny, fishy flavor, which comes from the bagong, but it has to be fish bagong. And the layering is key.
Yeah.
And so I've had various versions of pinakbet, and a lot of the times I feel like it's all cooked at the same time, but I will change the technique a little bit.
Yeah, just to,
Instead
like,
of
bring out-
layering and cooking at the same time, I will layer but cook in stages.
Okay.
So I want my tomatoes to get extremely jammy and sweet
Yeah.
before I add in everything else.
So we're gonna give our chicken a good sear in a hot cast iron skillet. Skin side down, chicken goes in. As it cooks down, it's gonna release more flavor from the bone, and that's what we want. We want a really, really nice and rich and flavorful broth that will flavor our rice.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm gonna put my bagnet in.
All right, now we maintain a safe distance from the stove.
So you put your tomatoes inside your palayok. And then we're gonna add a little bit of salt, but just to draw out the natural juice from the tomatoes. And then we're gonna crush it with clean hands until you develop some sort of like a pulp. So this is really key, because this will give you that initial liquid that all palayoks need to come to temperature without kind of blowing up. Once things start looking more or less cooked, you'll start shaking it. And the tomatoes never really have the opportunity to get really jammed.
Never saute your pinakbet.
Never.
Shake your pinakbet.
Shake. Garlic and onions go in as well. Your green onions, or if you were using lasona, your tops go in as well. And this is what's gonna go into with our tomatoes, and that's gonna be our quote-unquote oil.
Wow, I love bagnet so much.
Really?
There's a bit of sukang Ilocos with that.
Done deal.
That's a done deal. All right, I think my chicken is done actually. So let's give it a flip. Look at that crispy skin.
Beautiful.
What we want to aim to get from here is like that beautiful chicken fat, which will cook the rice in. So very similar application to your Hainanese chicken rice. So we take your beautiful chicken, and set it aside in a bowl. All right.
Now time for our seasoning. So we are using some fish bagoong. So that goes into our palayok here. Then we're gonna go in with our seasoning. So we are using our Maggi magic syrup right here. So that's mixed in. So we're gonna give it its first little shake. So still no heat has been applied to this. So this is the first shake to kind of mix those flavors together. And then now I'm gonna add some water. And this is the first base that we'll be cooking before adding anything else.
So right now, we've seared off our beautiful chicken pieces. Now we have all of this rich chicken fat. What we're gonna do now is very similar to Hainanese chicken rice. We are gonna saute our vegetables over here. So we're gonna leave some for boiling the chicken, and some will go into our rice. So in a hot pan, we have our ginger. Then we go in with our garlic, because I just like a bit of that toasted flavor.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm adding it second. And next, we go in with
Lemongrass.
our lemongrass. Now that our vegetables are nice and toasted, we can add in our, syempre, washed and soaked rice.
But this is a very risotto-ish technique, right?
Yeah.
You're getting the rice with all the
A bit
flavors
toasted,
before it's a bit
coating it
toasted.
with a bit of oil. Okay, I think at this point, our rice is ready. Now we can proceed to cook our chicken. So oil goes in, and then we follow it with some ginger. And then at this point, we can add our chicken back. So in goes our chicken leg quarter. Thank you, Erwan.
You're welcome.
Such a gentleman.
I aim to
forever.
please.
You are pleasing me very much. So at this point, we can add in our water for the broth. So we can now fortify this flavor even more with some Maggi magic chicken cubes. Crumble
Crush
that
it.
in.
I love that. That's
I
my
love
favorite.
that.
That's my favorite part of it.
Yeah, it's
You
like
can
that
crumb
visceral
it.
feeling of like,
Yes.
crushing the chicken cubes.
And it's just gonna absorb so quickly into the liquid.
And I don't know, it kind of makes me feel a bit chefy.
It,
honestly,
it does.
when
The
you-
sprinkle. Anything with a sprinkle, anything from a height makes you feel like a chef. Wait.
True. And next, I'll be putting in some Maggi Magic Sarap. That goes straight into your tinola broth. How are we feeling so far, E?
I'm feeling good. I feel like this looks. Look at that. See,
And honestly, I'm super excited to try yours because I don't think I've ever tried. Like even my grandmother from Ilocos doesn't really cook.
don't don't say this is gonna be better than your grandmother.
No!
I do not want that pressure, that stigma.
No, hindi naman. More of like it's my first time seeing it cooked this way.
That's all tomato,
Woo!
right? You can't get that
Yes,
if you
I know,
mix
so
it with
right.
everything, right? So this way you're kind of like even creating a liquor
Yeah.
from every vegetable layer that you're adding, which is quite nice. But
That's-
then now that it's already bubbling, I'm gonna slightly open it.
Okay, I think I'm gonna let this go for about 20 minutes since
Okay, and then after
Or-
this, you put this with your rice
yes,
in your clay pot,
we finish
and
everything.
then you let
there.
that cook.
Yes.
However long the rice takes to cook.
Yes, about 15 minutes. So 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and we're good, we're gold. Need some help there?
No, I'm okay. I'm just taking it off just to make sure I don't get any internet hate. He kept the stems of the eggplants. It's unedible. Okay, I'm gonna start putting in my vegetables based on what takes the longest to cook. So I'm gonna start with the
Okay.
kamote. The kamote is really the
Me
base
too.
of that sweetness. I'm gonna put my ampalaya also.
Okay. So right now, our broth has been boiling for about 15 minutes. Now we can proceed to assembling our tinola chicken rice. Okay. So,
I feel like working with Jury is like working with a golden retriever.
Oh,
Like,
why?
flowy hair, and then you're kind of just like
Yeah.
running all over
And
the
I'm,
place.
but I'm loyal.
You-
I'm loyal to
I like that, I
Feature
like that.
and to Erwan. Goes in a bit of ginger. We have our garlic browning and a bit of
Onions.
Then we go in with our shallots. Oh no, my rice is done. That means my
I thought he had a call. I was like, okay.
no, that means
And he has
my,
a Uniqlo sticker right on his
yeah,
phone.
large. It's
Classy.
to make me feel better. Large. And then into this pan goes in some Maggi oyster sauce. This adds a bit of sweetness, a bit of saltiness, a bit of umami. Next, we go in with some classic Maggi Savor. So I'm adding a bit of our reserved chicken broth. So again, we're trying to make like this really, really good, well-rounded sausawan.
Adding body to the sauce.
Yes.
While you do that, I'm
There
gonna
we
go
go.
ahead and add my last little touches here. Some of my green chilies.
Should be okay.
My sitaw.
While our rice is steaming,
Beautiful.
oh, thank you so much. Just like you are. Sorry, I gotta stop. All right, at this point, we can add in our malunggay leaves last. At the end of the day, this is sort of just like our garnish.
Yeah, just want to kind of soften them a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me try mine.
All right.
So this is last adjustments. So what I'm waiting for is for all the vegetables to be cooked where I want it to be.
Yeah.
And only when I have that will I start shaking it. Can you imagine the tomatoes haven't left the bottom
Yeah.
ever since we started cooking it, right?
Even the sweet potatoes.
So you can imagine how much flavor those have gotten
Yeah.
so far, right? Okay, I'm pretty much done. So I'm gonna turn this off, and this is where I'll mix it by shaking it. So the idea is I'm gonna try to turn things over. There, now it looks like, look at that, it looks beautiful. How's yours looking? Ready? Not yet.
Yeah, mine's ready. Now we'll see if mine paid off as well. Alright. 3, 2, 1.
Oh! These look great. Put them side by side, and then we'll go ahead and taste them.
Whoa. Alright. Wait.
Don't look into my eyes. Why are you making this awkward?
No, you gotta
It's
make
just
eye contact.
two grown
you know.
men feeding
Feeding each
themselves.
other.
It's fine. Go.
Wait.
He's looking at my eyes. Literally, the spoon is gonna hit your nose.
At least make.
You're good.
Alright.
1, 2, 3. I feel like all the flavors of tinola are there. They're present, it's there, it's still comforting. The only thing that you're quote unquote removing from the equation is the sabaw, which is fine, right? Because if you're doing something like this, you don't want a soup. You want the flavors of tinola, but in different format. So I think that nails it.
And I was kind of thinking like, you could always serve like the excess soup on the side.
Yeah, the broth.
And for me, I think personally this dish has potential.
Yeah.
Like just a bit of.
I mean,
more
it's just like if you
spice.
look at sizzling sinigang or sizzling bulalo.
Yeah.
They eventually became a thing, and then now a lot of restaurants kind of make it.
Yeah.
So something like this, like a clay pot tinola, could eventually become a thing
Yes.
that restaurants would serve, right? Next one.
It's part we've all been waiting for.
Don't hype it up so much. man,
No,
'cause if
I'm
then-
having it. You deserve it. You've been shaking it like really good.
Get a bit of pork, get a bit of fish. Make sure you get some sweet potatoes, because that's where the sweetness is,
Okay.
and some tomatoes.
And a bit of this caterpillar-looking thing. All right.
It's not that bad.
No, it's really good. Like,
It's really good, I'm dying. It's like,
no, nasa mid lang. This is one of the best pinakbets I've ever had. Like, not lying. I'm not trying to like glaze you too much or anything, but it's really good. I like it a lot. And surprisingly enough, like it's not even that bitter from the
the sauce in
ampalaya.
there. If you get the ampalaya full, there you'll get a bitter kick.
There's bitterness, but it's not like overwhelmingly bitter.
I think it's because of how long you cook it down.
Yeah.
I'm not Ilocano in any way, but this for me is kind of like
Yes.
comfort food.
It's okay. You've earned the title of Manong Erwan.
Thank you, man.
Very good.
There you have it, guys.
Everything.
So 2 dishes that are quote-unquote traditionally Filipino, but remaining and keeping the true essence of what makes each dish Filipino. It's your kitchen, you make the rules, take the liberties you want to take. At the end of the day, you're the ones eating it, and your friends, right?
At the end of the day, if it tastes good for you, then it's a good dish.
See you guys next time.
See you guys.